Right now at noon, Missouri Southern students share their concerns about delayed financial aid.
And we remain hot and muggy across the area. However, relief will eventually get here. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the Arma Public Library looks to solve some structural issues with its building.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A semi-crash on I-44 closes the interstate. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. KOAM Shannon Becker has more.
Crash occurred just before 7 a.m. this morning. This is going to be an hours-long operation. Tractor trailer overturned into the base, the north edge of the sign over the interstate at exit 8. Debris is scattered everywhere. At least 200 feet off the roadway, this axle came off the semi. Exit 8 is closed. The last exit you can take is exit 11, 249, north or south. Numerous agencies are here on the scene. MoDOT are taking down this large sign, obviously. The Joplin Police Major Crash Team will be conducting a crash investigation. From what we understand here on the scene, this was a single vehicle crash involving only a tractor trailer that was carrying 2 pup trailers. So 2 28-foot trailers together, tandems, sometimes they call it. It's unknown when I-44 will reopen. I'm Shannon Becker on I-44 at Joplin. For KOAM News Now, Joplin News First.
Now, the crash is still having an impact on westbound traffic. Chris Warner has more on that and a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we do. We have that traffic alert in place as you are traveling this morning, or this afternoon rather. So here's a live look at a set of MoDOT cameras along I-44. So this is at the Range Line exit. You can see crews are still working on that sign right now and still clearing that crash. And this is at 249. Now they zoomed it out, but traffic is backed up for several miles as vehicles begin to take that exit. And so the recommended path that you take on this detour, especially for trucks, is to take the 249 exit, but then loop around to the 32nd Street exit, that'd be I-49 South at exit 11, and then take 32nd Street to Range Line or Main, and then resume I-44 westbound from there. So definitely expect travel delays. Drivers urged to find an alternate route. And here's the MoDOT camera, 32nd in Range Line, and you can see it's looking east along the road here, and you can see how far traffic is backed up along this route. So if you're traveling on 32nd Street, you may want to consider an alternate route as well. On to our forecast, just a couple of clouds here and there. They've actually cleared out in the last few minutes from our camera on the Cornell complex. Yesterday, another well above normal day, starting at 76, made it up to 99 degrees. And we're already heating up. 93 in Joplin, 91 in Pittsburgh right now. And around the region, we've got some upper 80s, most of us into the low 90s already. Going through the rest of the evening, we're looking at these partly cloudy to mostly clear skies heading through, and a couple of isolated showers or storms possible in our northwestern counties between, say, 3 and 6. Most of us, though, still dry. It's going to be hot again tomorrow and the next day. After that, some big changes on the way. Details on that in the full forecast coming up. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. We'll leave an update on the health of 2 firefighters following Sunday night's fire in East Joplin. Reports of the fire came in Sunday night around 7:45 from a house at the intersection of 2nd and High Street. No injuries were reported. 2 firefighters were transported to an area hospital for heat-related illness. At the time, one was released, but the second was admitted for further observation and treatment. He has since been released. The Missouri Propane Safety Commission is helping in the investigation of an explosion that destroyed a house in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. The incident happened late Friday afternoon. The explosion killed the 2 residents along with their dog, and the massive explosion could be felt and seen for miles. The Excelsior Springs Fire Department advises every homeowner to install a gas detector. For the second year in a row, parents and students can expect to see a delay for the free application for federal student aid form, better known as FAFSA. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke with students at MSSU to learn about how these delays are impacting them.
It was so close to college that from college starting that I was just eager to get that information back.
The U.S. Department of Education has announced that the FAFSA form for the 2025-2026 school year will be open to students 2 months later than usual. This is the second year for FAFSA delays, which comes after the FAFSA Simplification Act in 2020 caused an overhaul of the previous federal aid system. The months-long delays caused lots of anxieties for new students. For Bella, an MSSU freshman, she received her tuition bill before even knowing how much aid she might get. She said the delays made her contemplate college altogether.
I was just really stressed out. I considered not going, but I feel like it's better that I did, and I'm glad that I did get the aid that I needed. But I definitely was really anxious for a long time, and yeah, it made my skin and everything flare up. I was just anxious.
For freshman students that I spoke with, they say it was frustrating to not know how much aid they were going to receive until almost when the school year started. They say they're not looking forward to this year's delays.
Kind of worried, just because, it's a lot of money. So to be that delayed is kind of stressful, not knowing that amount, getting so close to when I have to start college and classes and everything.
Some students are even trying to look on the bright side of these delays because they know there is nothing they can do.
That can be very frustrating, but it also builds anticipation, and maybe it's more exciting for them when they finally figure it out.
The Missouri Southern Financial Aid Office says it's important that students know FAFSA is different from school scholarship applications. Students new and returning need to fill out those applications in the fall, regardless of any FAFSA delays. They say their office is open to help students as universities and students alike deal with these delays. Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Financial Aid Department at MSSU recommends students fill out their FAFSA as soon as it becomes available. Well, the Arkansas Library hopes to upgrade their building and fix some structural concerns. They faced a mold issue, and as a result of clearing it up, they're now figuring out how to fix their walls and sheetrock. While they received a grant, the repair costs were over the grant amount. Now, the library offers a food pantry, book clubs, and internet to the community, so the city wants to improve the library for their guests.
Sewing, cooking, and as they have a small kitchen there as well to work with. And so it's a good communal point for people to meet. And we want to keep it that way and continue to improve.
They're also hoping to make the library more accessible for people with wheelchairs, along with other upgrades. Well, it's never too early to start learning about our beautiful planet. Preschoolers from Carthage, Missouri were able to learn about nature's creations this morning at the George Washington Carver National Monument. Now, the monument partnered with Carthage parents as teachers to educate young students on George Washington Carver's curiosity through crafts and storytime activities.
And so getting them out to these treasured places, which are over 400 of them, and learning about this stuff, whether it's natural or cultural resources, is very enriching for all ages.
After the program, students and their families were encouraged to explore the monument's interactive exhibits. Well, coming up, local conservation experts warn drivers to be extra cautious about deer this time of year. And later, we're making loaded baked potato salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, deer season is almost here, and if you plan on driving, especially at night, we have a few procedures to consider to keep you safe. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
Deer mating season is almost here, and if you want to be safe on the roadways, look out.
Missouri's deer population is doing well. We have a little over 1 million deer in Missouri. That's a lot of deer, and Joplin is no different. Joplin's deer population is doing well too. So that means that one of the things we have to be on the lookout for is when we're driving for deer crossing the roads. The peak time for this activity is October and November, because that's when the deer mating season is.
Conservation agent Francis Gillespie says if you encounter a deer in the roadway, swerving to avoid hitting it is a bad idea.
One thing you don't want to do is try to veer away from the deer. Because that'll do two things. Could lead you into oncoming traffic, or it could lead you off the road into a situation that's worse for your vehicle and possibly for you than if you hit the deer.
Business owner Terry Swims is enjoying deer season, but he takes extra precautions when driving at night.
And I drive slower at night than I do in the daytime. I don't want to hit one, I don't want to tear up my vehicle, and I don't want to kill the deer.
when possible, when you're driving at night, keep your lights on high beam. That way you have a longer field of vision.
Although deer can be a hazard for drivers, the majestic creatures remain an exciting sight for community members to enjoy.
Well, the Department of Conservation says Missouri's hunting permits and regulations help keep the deer population under control. Well, the Missouri Department of Conservation is also tracking an invasive species of lizard in the Joplin area. They're asking for people to let them know if they spot this lizard. It's called an Italian wall lizard, and you might find it in the Wildcat or Silver Creek Glades areas. The Italian wall lizards escaped from a Joplin area collector in the early 2000s. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you had to choose between a loaded baked potato and potato salad, which would you pick?
And we've got some relief on the way. A cold front, some rain chances down the road. The latest on that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So it's another hot day. If you've been outside, you don't need me to tell you that. But I do have some good news. We will eventually have some relief on the way. It's going to take a couple of days, though, but we'll make it. We've made it through this summer so far. We'll make it through the next couple of days. Future track, not much to show as we head into the afternoon. Again, an isolated pop-up shower or storm possible in our far northwestern counties. And then we have another system that's going to maybe clip our far northeastern edges of our area. You saw some of those rain showers there as we head into the late evening and overnight hours. But 99% of us likely to be dry for the rest of today. Then we head into our Wednesday, and the majority of the Wednesday is going to be hot and dry with partly cloudy skies. However, we do have a slight chance of some additional isolated showers and storms as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours across the area. So remember, future tracks showing these are the general areas we could see a pop-up shower. It does not mean we are going to see that many necessarily, but regardless, at least some brief rain chances are in there. Then we go into our Thursday. Well, if you were guessing it was going to be hot and partly cloudy, I don't even know why I'm here, because you would be correct. It is going to be hot and partly cloudy again on our Thursday. We could again, in the daytime heating, see a couple of isolated pop-up showers or storms. Those will fizzle out. Then we go overnight Friday into the early morning hours and take a look off to the northwest. Here comes that cold front. And ahead of that cold front is going to be shower and thunderstorm chances. Now again, at this time, we don't have any areas highlighted for severe weather. We're still a few days out. We'll keep a close eye on it, but one way or the other, we're getting rain, and more importantly, we're getting cooler temperatures to go with that. So as we head into early Friday morning, showers, thunderstorms in the northwestern portions of our area, pushing through southeast Kansas, and they'll eventually make their way through the rest of the area. Now, we are looking at the possibility of a couple of rounds of showers and storms. So we may have this initial batch roll through in the morning, and then a second batch roll through in the afternoon hours, which will feel great. It will be great, because right now it is not great. Take a look at these temperatures. Nevada, Stockton, a couple of the cool spots, upper 80s, and if you can call that cool. The rest of us, low 90s, and even though the humidity levels have dropped, dew point levels have not, so we still have to contend with some heat index values, even in Nevada and Stockton, where their temperature is a little lower. They're still dealing with mid-upper 90s for heat index values, and Yates Center and Iola both at 101. So while we don't have any heat advisories out there, we still have the heat to contend with. It's just not as severe. It's kind of like severe thunderstorm warnings. They have certain criteria before they're issued. Heat advisories are the same way. It doesn't mean it's not still hot, but yeah, at least we don't have the heat advisories. All right, mid-90s today, a couple isolated storms possible. The heat index value is up to 100, and as we're seeing in Iola and Yates Center, a little higher than that. We'll have mostly clear skies tonight. Another cool one, still above normal, but cool as we fall back into the low 70s. Heading into our Wednesday, another hot one, mid-90s. Heat index values close to 100 out there, and again, some isolated pop-up showers and storms. Then the cold front, and here's what it does for us. So on Thursday, still mid-90s, mid-80s Friday, and that's why we'll have those thunderstorms off and on through the majority of the day. As we head into the weekend, though, we warm back up slightly, but still below normal as we go into the mid to upper 80s out there. Then we have another wave coming through late Sunday. Now at this point, not a lot of rain associated with that wave on Sunday, but it does bring the temperatures down significantly. Overnight lows starting next week, upper 50s, highs into the low 80s, so well below normal. So if we can just get through the next few days, we got some great weather on the way.
All right, sounds like it. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making loaded baked potato salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is sharing his recipe for loaded baked potato salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Potato salad is one of those dishes that, although we eat it all year long, it's most popular during the summer since it's cool and refreshing. But now that summer's coming to a close, we have a version that's perfect for the cooler weather. It's baked potato salad that's served warm, and boy, is it ever good. We begin by baking 4 to 5 potatoes until they're fork tender. Once they are, we let them cool slightly before cutting them up and placing them in a large bowl. To that, we add a container of sour cream, some sliced scallions, a good amount of cheddar cheese, some melted butter, a little salt and pepper, and everyone's favorite, some crumbled bacon. We toss everything together, then spoon this into a casserole dish before baking it off. And whether you serve this with burgers or a slow-cooked pot roast, it's just as fitting. Yep, it has everything we love about a loaded baked potato in the form of potato salad. So don't wait another minute. Head over to our website and type in loaded baked potato salad. I'm sure you'll be glad you did. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a potato lover's way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, we're staying hot and muggy today and tomorrow and Thursday, and then we get that cold front Friday, knocks us down to the mid-80s. On again, off again, thunderstorms through the day on Friday, mid-upper 80s this weekend. Another wave Sunday, though, that's the one we're really going to like. Overnight lows into the upper 50s to start next week. Afternoon highs in the low 80s. So it is going to be nice. We just have to make it through the next few days.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thanks, Chris. What do you have for us tonight, Dow?
Lots coming up at 5. For starters, a spike in heat-related deaths over the past few years has researchers encouraging local governments in high-risk areas to invest in cooling centers for its community members. Plus, the Crawford County Mental Health Center celebrates the opening of its new addiction treatment center. And a young Miami, Oklahoma man with autism publishes his first book after years of hard work and perseverance. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dow. And that's the news for now. Have a great rest of your day.